Hello everyone, Justin with Deep Dive Stocks here, and today we're going to be looking at some of the new changes coming to the data dashboard, and there's quite a few of them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And as usual, we're going to start with VOX, but this time we're going to not be looking at the VOX graph per se, but rather we're going to be looking at these new tooltips that you can find throughout the dashboard. And they include some additional information about the graphs, the different variables you can choose, and what those variables mean. You'll notice them throughout the dashboard on the graphs and some of the data tables, as we'll see later on. Another change coming to the graphs is the ability to toggle VOX on and off. Sometimes viewing price can be a little difficult if we want VOX overlaid on the graph as well. So now we can remove VOX and we can get more of just a price graph. And of course we can add on the other indicators. And that can help looking at data a little bit easier. Another change to the indicators on the VOX graphs, I guess just regular graphs now, is the dark pool coloring is now more defined. It's defined better. We get these burgundy dots if something is very bearish, gray if something is moderately bearish, green if something is moderately bullish, and gold if something is very bullish. And to better understand what these colors mean, again, we can come back to the tooltip and we can see the nice description here, telling us what every color means in the dark pool indicator. Another addition to the graphs, which is better seen close up, is the addition of the EPR bands, or the expected price range bands. So now we can see we can overlay the expected price range on top of the price graph, and that would tell us exactly what the upper expected price range and the lower expected price range is, and it will tell us the next day's price range as well. So overall with the graphs, we have the ability to toggle VOX on and off. We have a new coloring scheme for the dark pools. And we have the ability now to add the expected price range graphs. And if at any point we need a little bit of a reminder, we can go to the tooltip where we can get some additional information and some pointers to more resources. Moving on to the data page, we see the tooltips. And we see one again for the heat maps, and obviously it has some different information, but information pertinent to the heat maps. The next set of heat maps are found for the snap graphs, and for the directionalized table tooltip, and for the options layout graphs. And these tooltips provide just a nice recap on what the data are in that section and where additional information might be found on those data. The next addition to the data page comes from being able to calculate the expected price range for any future number of trading days. So for instance, if we are here on CPRX and we want to know what the next 25 days hold for us, we can enter 25 and calculate, and it gives us the up until the next 25 days what the upper and what the lower price ranges are, as well as the percent move. If we don't know what days, but we know what date we want, say we want to know what the range for CPRX is from now until July 19th, we simply enter July 19th, hit calculate EPR, and we can see that per IV, we have an upper limit of 21.06 and 9.98, or a 35% move is expected over the next 108 days. So I think that's pretty nifty. The next big group of changes come from the watch list. The first thing you'll notice is that we can now limit our search for watch list stocks only. So if we click this box, that means if whatever criteria that we select further on down, the program will only look for stocks that are inside of your watch list. Another change is that we can now search for IV spikes, and those are just large changes in IV. So we see here VCXA experienced a nice 2,306% increase in volatility. If we look at some of the bigger ones, we see EBET, 88% decline in volatility. And so these can help find large sudden shifts in volatility, and we can filter how large of a volatility spike we want to look for. So if we just want all of them, or if we want the ones that are at least a 50% increase from the day prior, or if we want at least a 100% increase from the day prior. And so we see those. Keeping in the theme of volatility, we can now rank, or we can now get the stocks that have volatilities that are in the top 1, top 25, or top 50%, or bottom 50%, bottom 25, and bottom 1% of their historic IV range. So if we look at the stocks that are in a bottom 1%, there are none. If we look for stocks that are in a top 1%, we see SRNE has an IV of 2.48, and that is currently in the top 1% of its volatility, or top 1% of its historic IV values. So if we go over to SRNE, and we do indeed see quite a substantial increase and even a IV spike in volatility on SRNE that is substantially larger than historical values, which is it seems to be about 1. SRNE is sitting at about 2.4. That's pretty significant. And so those are the main changes to the market scan. So in recap, we have some new tools on the graphs. We have new tooltips located throughout the dashboard. We have a new IV calculation tool where we can choose what date we want or how many days in advance we want to get a nice price range for. And we have some new additions to the market scan. So those are some of the major changes coming to the dashboard on Friday the 24th. And as you can see, there's some nice quality of life along with some new investigating abilities with the market scan. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about them. There's still quite a list of features to add. And if you have any additional features that you would like to see on the dashboard, leave a comment, shoot me an email, and I'll get working on them as soon as I can figure out how to do it. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Enjoy and happy trading. Bye.